Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and in this video we're going to talk about one of the consequences of all the extreme heat that's happening, not just out west, but this one down here in Tallahassee, Florida. So, it's not just all the lack of water and the drought from the extreme heat that's causing problems, but right now, roads are starting to bleed or buckle in parts of the U.S. And this is a report out of Tallahassee, Florida. And this was 6 days ago. So this was June 23rd. Here's another one in Utah. The same thing is happening. 3 cases so far have occurred along the Wasatch Front Range within the past week. And that's a June 21st article. Vegas, which is always hot. But here's NASA. They took this like thermal image, and you can see the grid of the street. I mean, the heat, the air in Vegas is always hot. These are all the rocks going out to Lake Mead, and this is all desert. But the streets actually show up here, the grid, because the streets are so hot. And then down here, well, over here, this is in Minnesota. And so this isn't just affecting roads, but it is shattering car windows. And yeah, down here, there's another one here that's, where's this out of? But here again, it shattered car windows. So, and right here, some experts said you can, put it in a carport, you could put a cover over it. It says you can crack the window a little bit so that air, some of the hot air will escape and it won't get so hot inside your car. We all know how hot cars get when they're just sitting out in the sun and your windows are up. But right now it's getting so hot that it's cracking, shattering windows. So that's, look at this. This is a picture of a street buckling. And, the streets are obviously, they're black, they're tar, and they truly, they
More
should.
knowing means more doing. Tell me.
Okay, let's put an end to that. So, they cause a lot of heat here, but right here in this article about Vegas, it says that, the asphalt absorbs up to 95% of solar radiation and retains the heat for hours into the nighttime. So, once the sun goes away, the asphalt doesn't just cool down, it will still just be radiating heat. And right here, it said that the dark lines in the center of the image, which is, all the streets in Vegas, it says that the temperature that was the pavement temperature exceeded 122 degrees Fahrenheit, while the exteriors of the downtown buildings were a few degrees cooler than the paved surfaces. So, yeah, we all know Vegas can get hot, but it can get hot even in Minnesota, which is this article or this article here, Minnesota. I mean, that's pretty far north. Utah. Well, I mean, Utah has a lot of desert. That's Tallahassee. And Utah, it has a lot of desert. I mean, driving, the hottest I've ever driven is in 117-degree weather, and that was in Utah in May, maybe the beginning of June, but no, I think it was the end of May. And yeah, I left Canyonlands at like 11:30 in the morning, and it was 111 degrees. And when I was driving home, when I stopped for gas, the guy at the convenience store told me that it was 117 degrees, and you just felt like you were in a furnace sitting in a car. It was just, you had a breeze because the wind coming in through the windows, but it was just like the breeze was just a heater, dumping hot air on you. But, the road's buckling. Look, I mean, here's damage. Here's some more damage. And it can cost taxpayers a lot of money to replace these roads. It can also do a lot of damage to your cars, but it said that um, Miller, who is Lisa Miller, a spokesperson for the Utah Department of Transportation, she said that road buckling is always a roadway emergency and drivers should call 911 to report them whenever they see them. So, yeah, they're a road hazard. Even this article here about Minnesota, this is from the Minnesota Department of Transportation. It says if you see buckling on your route, try to avoid driving over it and call 911 to report it. Pavement buckles are emergencies and we fix them ASAP, all in capital letters. So, these are pictures of the road buckling, and try not to drive over it, but you can damage your car. But, we all know roads cost a lot of money to taxpayers, but even the departments of transportation consider these to be an emergency, and they want to get on the problem. They will fix it ASAP and report it. Even some of these videos that I listen to that have news reports about it, they say, no, definitely call 911. You will not be um, held accountable for, using 911 inappropriately. This is an appropriate use of 911 to call about roads that are buckling and or bleeding. So right here, it says that hot weather in Texas caused a road to bleed, and they say that extreme heat caused the binder that makes up the asphalt near the crocket to liquefy and leach onto the surface of the road. And so, yeah, they even want to know about bleeding. The temperature of the roadway was 140 degrees at the time, and they said that if they see bleeding, they treat it immediately. And what they say is that, yeah, they apply water to the affected section of the road to cool it down. Because, yeah, pavement can be up to 140 degrees. And so the extreme heat that's going on is causing problems. And if you come across it, don't drive over it, and don't be afraid to call 911. At least right here in Minnesota and in Utah, they point blank in these articles tell you they consider this to be an emergency and they want your call because they will go out and fix it as soon as possible. But also be aware, people, that, extreme heat, if you just leave your car windows closed, it can shatter your windows. It is shattering people's car windows right now. It says that extreme heat, wind, and pressure can sometimes do that to tempered glass. Lots of times, even if you have a small crack or a rock chip on the glass already, it'll have a starting breaking point that way. Keeping the car cool, even cracking the windows, is the best move according to glass experts. But yes, cover the car if you can, park it in the shade, park it in a garage, park it in a carport. But if you can't, try to at least crack your windows a little bit so that, a lot of that built up heat will escape. Now, don't do that if you live in an area with bears. I myself personally have watched a bear climb out of my car. Yes, I did. And, after the fact, and it was at night, and somebody said to me, did you have your window down, or was it down just even a crack? And I said, I don't know. It broke my driver's side window to get into the car. And they were like, it sounds like it was probably even just down a crack. Because when you live in bear country, you always roll your windows up. Just because a bear it can smell out a wrapper, and it will try to get into your car if it thinks it has a wrapper in it. What was in my car was I had recycling. I had some like plastic containers that had sandwich meat in them, and I had even taken the recycling out of my car, but the bag that I had the recycling in got the bear's attention because it took that bag out, and then it seems that it came back when it didn't find anything and it looked for other things. And I looked out the front door and I was like, what? And it was just stuff strewn across, the driveway. And I turned on the light, and then the car started bouncing, and I could hear it go meow, 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 like the springs. And then the horn went off. This is like 11:30 at night, and then the horn went off, and then the bear climbed out the driver's side window, and there was just glass all over it. Oh, it took me hours to clean up just even a small driver's side window glass, like hour and a half just to clean the grass out of the lawn. Okay, seriously. So if you're in bear country, don't do that. Don't leave it open a crack, but other places, leave it open a crack because it can help with that heat building up so that your car window won't shatter. But extreme heat is doing a lot of damage, and it is doing damage to roads and buckling
Well,
roads
now to the
here.
sweltering heat in the south.
Okay, let's stop these videos, and do not be afraid to call emergency services and let them know where the buckling happened, and they will send crews out immediately for it. So drive safe out there, people, and help, your communities take care of your roads by reporting this. You're not being a narc. You're actually doing some good, and please don't drive over this if you see it. We don't want you damaging your car, and help other people, including your town budgets and, county budgets, state budgets, federal budgets, by reporting this and getting it fixed so it doesn't get worse. So just another consequence from the extreme heat that we are all experiencing. So the more you know, I guess, as that little commercial says. So stay tuned, people.